at Mark Martin Pod on Facebook, Twitter, and Instagram. But Mark, we're going to go into the year 2001. It's the first year of the Viagra sponsorship. You touched on that in prior episodes. Let's roll into the year 2001 here on the Mark Martin Podcast.
Okay, Barry. Well, first of all, I wanted to talk just a little bit about, I want to remind everybody who's listening that, what I say and what I recall is the way I saw things. And if you were standing right next to me, you might see things and recall them differently. So I'm not saying that what I say on these podcasts is 100% accurate, because it's not.
The Red Sox are trying to make it 6 in a row.
The way I saw
Hi again, everybody, and welcome to EA Sports MVP Baseball.
Can be different
I'm
than
Blake
someone
Hyper along with Mike Krukow.
Else that sees the same thing.
And we're set to go. Today's
So,
starter, Noah
that's
Lowry.
Just something to keep in mind. These are
Today's
based
American
on
League game is
my
between the
memories,
Boston Red Sox and the Tampa Bay
things
Devil
that
Rays.
were important to me through the years. And I did
Here's the game's
talk a
first
little
batter,
bit about
Johnny Damon. This lefty batter looks completely lost when he
Viagra
faces left-handed pitching.
and our partnership with Pfizer. Pfizer's a major
There's
corporation.
the first pitch of the game.
This was,
pitch is his fastball.
at the time, probably the biggest deal that had been landed
One ball and one strike.
in NASCAR.
He showed excellent command
From
of
a
his fastball right there.
monetary
Strike right on the edge of the zone.
standpoint, as well
On the ground.
as
There's an out.
from
Next up, Mike Lowe.
they're putting
Base is empty with
money
one out.
behind their sponsorship activation, they call it now, I
Fastball in
think.
there at the letters.
This
Where
lefty has
they
one
put
great pitch,
so
and he'll
much
stick with it to get a guy
behind the television
Lowry
ads. I
misses the
mean,
zone,
they had
and it's
ads
1-1.
even on prime time network stuff, which you just
That's a foul
didn't
pop,
see
and it looks
prior
like
to
there's room
this
for a play.
in NASCAR, really. Or if you did, it wasn't very much of it. So this was a big
He
feather
rolled him up on strike.
in our cap from that
Hey, the pitcher wins the
standpoint.
battle. Sweet pitch.
Even though the drug Viagra, had a stigmatism to it, where people wanted to make jokes and be
Next
funny
at the
about
plate,
it, and
Miguel Cabrera.
whether or not you should
This guy
be
is great
ashamed
at
about
on the
having
ball.
erectile dysfunction or anything else.
Strike one.
However you feel about
That
that.
is pinpoint control right there.
is
The catcher set a
up to
target on
you,
the corner, and the pitcher
but
just hammered it for a strike.
There were some things
He's got
that
four
I
solid pitches that he'll throw
wanted
in
to
the
go
count.
over. First
And
of all,
here's
when
the
we made this
delivery.
deal, as I said in the
The pitch
prior
is hit up the middle.
podcast, to this one was,
He reaches
it was
with
very
a single.
important to me
He lined
that
that ball
we
right past the infielder. There was no
focus
doubt it was a
on
base hit. Good bit of hitting.
men's health
This batter
in
is
general,
no slouch when he
and
bats against
so
the runners
Pfizer
moving.
promised
He just stole
that they would
second.
do,
The guy walked right into his
especially
speed. He
in
never had a chance to throw
2001,
him
they
out.
would come out of the gate really strong about encouraging men to get checkups and
And a breaking
just
ball
do
down low.
the health.
This pitcher doesn't win games
kinds
by
of
striking
things.
out every batter.
They
he faces.
set up a tractor trailer that went to every race
1-2.
on the circuit and gave free health screenings to men at the racetrack
No
before,
swing, he checked in time.
at every
Even the
event.
batter
So
knew
you
he got
could
away
go,
with a
instead
swing
of having to make an appointment to go see a doctor, you could go in
Easy
and
play
get,
for the left
all your
fielder.
tests run and checked out and everything.
Crawford makes the
This
catch.
was something that was really important. We did a lot of advertising to encourage men
And now
over
for a look
40
at the
to go
home
get
team lineup.
checkups and health screenings and stuff. So that was kind of the
Starting
focus
on the
of
hill for the visiting
2001
team, Oliver Perez.
as far as my affiliation with Pfizer and what Pfizer focused on and what I helped them promote. It was something that I was actually really proud of. It was a really great
Up next,
cause, I would say. If we changed anybody's lives for the good,
and a strike
that
on
was
the
something
inside.
that I was really proud of. And if someone caught a illness that was in the early stages that was treatable, that otherwise would have not been noticed,
Damon makes the routine catch.
And let go to the point where it wasn't treatable, then it could have made a major difference in that person's life. So that's kind of where we were at. So we come out of the gate talking about the racing part of it, and my hate relationship with Daytona Speedway continues as we go to Daytona and only qualify 22nd, and we have trouble in the race. I had trouble at Daytona all the time. If it wasn't mechanical problems, it was wrecks. It was actually just.
There's a strike with the changeup.
I called Daytona.
That is pinpoint control right there.
The Daytona, they always said it was
hammered it for a strike.
The world center of speed, I think, or world center, whatever it was, world center of speed, I think, or world center of racing. I called it the world center of pain for me. So, anyway, we go to Daytona. Jimmy Finnick and I, have had great years together, 97, 98, 99, even 2000 was a decent year on the racetrack. And we go to the next race is Rockingham and qualified 17th and finished 20th as well. So I'm just looking at the stats right now, and I just want to say that 2001, with the exception of having a new sponsor, and the good things that we did there, and some other good things I'm sure that we did, or that I did, or whatever, that I can't remember, don't remember. It was pretty much a pathetic season. You can look at the stats and tell real quickly. If you go down the list, one thing that you control a lot of the circumstances is qualifying. When you talk about 500-mile races, controlling all the circumstances and the outcomes are much more difficult. But qualifying is a good indicator if you're hauling ass or not. And, I can sit here and just see, we only got 2 poles. 2 poles for me in a season is not very good. And they were both on short tracks, oddly enough. So I'm sitting here knowing that the lack of speed was in aero. I mean, I just know it because I know how this stuff works. I see that we qualified on the outside pole at Loudon, one of the races as well. So Loudon would be less aero dependent than most places. Somehow or another we got off on aero. We had them killed in 98 on aero with the new Taurus.
So why not hit and run?
And we just eventually got ourselves behind. We just didn't run good. I mean, I'm looking at 41st at Atlanta, 34th at Bristol, 39th at Martinsville, 40th at Fontana. I mean, this is all early in the season. My gosh, it's pathetic. 32nd at Dover, 34th at Rockingham.
This is an ideal double play situation.
With that new sponsorship probably came, some pressure to perform with, the Viagra sponsorship. I mean, do you recall any of that year? I know that there's not a lot of good finishes. There's a couple poles, but was there any pressure from that side? Knowing going into this, you got a really great program going, really great sponsorship. You're doing a lot of wonderful things with Pfizer on the men's health side. But is there any pressure from that? And was that part of the results?
The pressure starts to build. Obviously, they were thrilled to sign us. One of the very top cars. One of the top 5 or 6 cars on the circuit had been historically since 1989. So we have, they had scored a big one, being able to sign us, and they obviously had expectations. They were smart enough to understand that racing was was a little bit cyclical,
Bad throws allowed the batter to come all the way around the horn.
And
score.
so I
You gotta
didn't
be
feel
kidding.
pressure coming right out of the gate. And as we went through the year of 2001 and we just were miserable finishes, miserable speed, I got more consumed with that than I did. You know, I could have, I was totally tone deaf to the possibility that Pfizer might have been hoping or expecting more out of us than what we were given.
Sears announces the Wasilla store is closing forever. Millions in inventory must be sold, including all fashion clothing, tools, bed and bath, housewares, sporting goods, and more. Save 70% off on all fine gold, silver, diamond, and gemstone jewelry. Gifts for all occasions. All in-store, in-stock major appliances are on sale. Everything must go. Even the store fixtures are for sale. Only in the Sears store in Wasilla at 1000 South Seward Meridian Road. It's business as usual at all other Sears stores. Sears announces the Wasilla store is closing forever. Millions in inventory must be sold, including all fashion clothing, tools, bed and bath, housewares, sporting goods, and more. Save 70% off on all fine gold, silver, diamond, and gemstone jewelry. Gifts for all occasions. All in-store, in-stock major appliances are on sale. Everything must go. Even the store fixtures are for sale. Only in the Sears store in Wasilla at 1000 South Seward Meridian Road. It's business as usual at all other Sears stores.
It was the sound was deafening to me
That's a three-pitch
from
strikeout.
the performance on the racetrack. And we did get, we ran in the top 10 when we didn't have trouble, but it was more often the latter part of the top 10 rather than top 5s. It was just really a challenging season, and we just one of those years where not only did you not have the speed, but we also had a lot of bad finishes. And so this was the first year probably since 1988 that we hadn't been a top 10 car points wise and a top 5 car really for the most part points wise as well. And it was just, we had just dug a hole, and you talking about frustrated. We were frustrated, and just one of those times in my career where the frustration was just at the breaking point. By the end of the year, there was no question in my mind that we had to make some kind of change going forward.
Takes a tailing fastball.
So, obviously Jack knew as well. By this point in time, my relationship with Jack was really strong. Jack and I had really bonded and understood and knew each other, and was in the early stages, I would say, of becoming total blood brothers. And so, Jack and I sit down and talked about what to do, and this was during the time that Kurt Busch, had moved, Jack had moved him into the Cup series and had some young guys around him and a young team around Kurt that was really, really doing well. Kurt was blindingly fast. He was hitting a lot of stuff still, but he was getting better at not hitting stuff, and he was blindingly fast.
And then he digs deep, makes great pitches, and
but wasn't really having the kind of success that he was capable of yet. But he was certainly showing speed. So Jack and I decided that what we should do is swap teams with Kurt and put me with the young crew chief. I'd known Ben Leslie forever, and all his guys were young guys. It was sort of an upstart team with with rookie, built around the rookie driver. And we just felt like that Jimmy Finnig would be a tremendous influence on Kurt in every way, from the experience side of it to the calm and patience that Jimmy Finnig had always shown, his amazing experience and the success that he'd had with Bobby Allison and myself, and back even all the way back into the ASA days, 85 and 86 with me. It was just it was ideal for Kurt, we felt, and I felt good about going with this team. They were showing more speed than I was, and showing more potential than I'd managed to show throughout 2001. So I was ready to make that change. So we decided to pull the trigger on that and make that change. And this would be a big deal. This was really a big deal. It was me stepping out of a comfort zone of having guys around me who had a lot of experience, and
puts it away for the out.
And then I was comfortable with moving into a team where most people on that team had not been in a victory lane, had not won a race, never experienced winning a race at the cup level. So it was something that was a big change, but something that we felt like we needed to move forward on.
So let's roll right into 2002. I mean, 2001 was pretty nondescript, a lot of struggling, a 12th place finish, but then a massive change not only for yourself,
one hit in the game,
for the entire team, for all of Roush Racing. In 2001, I mean, looking at the stats, was a struggle for the entire team.
He delivers.
Then the crew chief changeovers, and not only yourself. So you went from a 12th place to a 2nd place finish in 2002, and we'll touch on that. But the entire team actually had quite a turnaround and much better finishes in 2002. And was that because of all this changeover that you did to the entire organization?
Lowry walks the batter.
Yeah,
here's killing me.
There was just a lot that went into it.
Here's a guy who's one of the best hitters around.
All came out of our comfort zone, and
stealing bags is like a game
of course, Ben Leslie was excited beyond belief to get
takes a pitch high.
Get to work with me, because he'd worked with me, in the Busch series as not as a crew chief, but just as a crew guy, and he understood my history, knew my history, and was excited to work with me, as well as all his guys. Look, they had been very frustrated with Kurt. This was at a time in Kurt's career where he was super young,
nothing spectacular there, just a good old-fashioned basic,
quite volatile, blindingly fast, and hit a lot of stuff, and was not completely
the runner on second better get a pretty good jump if he wants to
under
make it home
control
and hit the left
with
field.
his emotions and everything. And so
sometimes you try to make the hitter chase your pitch. That's
this
exactly
team
what you saw right
was
there.
thrilled to work with me, and that's always a good feeling. So we just come out of the gate. We'll just get started right away and start talking about some results. We go to the World Series, the World Center of Pain for Mark Martin, and finish 6th. So 6th place coming out of the gate at Daytona is absolutely fabulous for us. And then we go to Rockingham, and I don't know what happens there, but we wind up with a 21st place finish. But then we go to Vegas and finish 3rd, and Atlanta finished 8th. In Darlington, we have some trouble. Finished 29th. But then we get popped back on, and start reeling off top top 10s and
And
top
he swings
5s.
and misses.
The guys, we've come right out of the gate with
Here's the
faster race
1-2
cars,
delivery. 2-2 the
but
count.
not
Sometimes you try to make the hitter
absolutely
chase your pitch. That's
spectacular.
exactly what you saw right there.
We're really doing a good job of
It's a full count.
Sometimes you try to make the hitter chase your pitch. That's exactly what you
racing
saw right
the
there.
car and bringing
Both
home
runners
good
are off
solid
with the
finishes
pitch.
because
And with
we're
that,
pretty
the side
steady
is
on the
retired.
racetrack and pretty darn fast.
Going into the bottom of the fourth, the
So-
score is 2-1.
We start. This is back when we have the No Rule 5 series where they pick a certain race and they call that a No Bull 5 race.
He makes the catch
And if
on
you
the warning
finish in the
track.
top 5
once you
in that
change the
particular
opposite
race,
side,
let's say Vegas,
You can throw a guy
you
out.
finish in top 5 at Vegas, let's just say, then you're eligible
line
for a $1
drive.
million bonus.
Got him for the
Those
out.
5 cars are eligible for a $1 million bonus.
Next at the plate.
Let's say at Charlotte.
This righty doesn't exactly.
It's another No Bull 5 race. So if one of those 5 cars wins a race
On the
at
ground.
Charlotte,
He came
then
up
they
with
get
it.
a $1 million bonus.
Perez with a 1-2-3 inning.
And so we managed to get into the No Bull 5 for the Charlotte
With
race.
5 innings left to play. The Red
And
Sox
Charlotte is
trail by
a
1
really
run.
good racetrack for me. It's
Ortiz
still the
strolls to
old
the
Charlotte.
plate.
It hasn't been repaved yet. So at this time, it's still my favorite track above
A bit
Dover.
outside for a ball, 1-0.
because it hasn't been repaved. The last repave, it fell off the top of the list. It changed it completely. But this was my favorite racetrack, Charlotte.
Sears announces the Wasilla store is closing forever. Millions in inventory must be sold, including all fashion clothing, tools, bed and bath, housewares,
Gathers
sporting
it in
goods,
with his
and more.
glove.
Save 70% off on all fine gold, silver, diamond, and gemstone jewelry.
next,
Gifts for
Johnny
all
D.
occasions. All in-store, in-stock major appliances are on sale. Everything must go. Even the store fixtures are for sale.
He's
Only
hitting
in the Sears store in
229
Wasilla at
with 2
1000
home
South
runs
Seward
and
Meridian
8
Road.
runs
It's
batted in.
business as usual at all other Sears stores.
Taken for a ball.
Sears announces the Wasilla store is closing forever. Millions in inventory
The ball
must
is
be
pulled
sold,
to the right
including
side.
all fashion clothing, tools, bed and bath,
He's on
housewares,
with a
sporting goods,
single.
and more. Save 70% off on all
Hey, but
fine
listen to me like
gold,
he's
silver,
throwing
diamond,
softballs
and
out there.
gemstone
These
jewelry.
guys aren't
Gifts
missing
for
a
all
thing.
occasions.
It's gotta be time
All
to go to the
in-store,
bullpen.
in-stock
Let's
major
go.
appliances
Get somebody
are
up.
on sale.
Over to
Everything
first with
must
the
go.
pickoff throw.
Even the store fixtures are for sale. Only in the Sears store in Wasilla at 1000 South
The
Seward
delivery.
Meridian Road. It's business as usual at all other Sears stores.
It was a place that I really run good at. It's a No Bull 5 race, so we're
Lowell takes a
eligible
ball,
for
and it's 1-1.
They've set that
$1 million
defensive middle
bonus.
plate depth. If you can get a ground
At that
ball
point
right here,
in
they
time,
might get 2.
He's going back at
I
the
make
track. The wall.
a
Crawford caught it
commitment.
at the wall.
when Ben starts getting
The
excited
Devil Rays
about,
have
we're
someone
going to build you
tossing in
a
the
car,
bullpen.
we're going to build you a special car. I've learned how
Stepping in,
you'd
Miguel
like a
Cabrera.
loose race car, and we're going to pull the nose forward. We got wind tunnel time. We're going to pull the nose
Ball
forward,
outside. He missed with the
and
changeup.
we know how to, make it still fit the template, pull it forward, and we're going to push the nose
Out of
over
the
to the
zone,
left.
that's a ball.
While everybody
If you're
else,
thinking about hitting and running,
like
this may
Matt
be the time.
Kemp's
He's got to throw a
example,
strike
is
right
pushing
here.
the nose over to the
Hit it
right
inside for
to
a
make
ball.
side force. We're going to, in the rear, we're going to
Four
push the
straight
nose over
balls
to the
for a
left
walk.
because that's
Oh,
what
it's
you
too bad
like.
he
You
wants
like a
this guy.
loose
He
race
just lets him
car.
get away.
And so I make a commitment that
Kite, the runner on second better get a pretty
we
good
win
jump
that
if
$1
he
million
wants to make it home
bonus,
and hit the left field. That guy right there
will
throws strikes to home plate at will.
share half of my take of that with the team,
Pitch taken for a ball.
with the team, my guys. And
He
so
crushes it.
they build a car, they
Crawford
take it to the wind
corrals
tunnel.
it at the warning
It makes
track.
astronomical front down force. We
Going
set
into
up
the
a
bottom
test.
Of the fifth. The score is 2-1.
Ben does for Charlotte, so we're going to even test at Charlotte.
The next
And
batter
I
is
show up for the
Sean
test at
Figgins.
Charlotte in the garage.
Here comes the first pitch
This is
of the
back when
at-bat.
not everybody tested, only
It's hit to the
people
left
rented the
side.
track. So there were some other guys that shared
Got him.
the track with us, maybe 4 other cars and us. So there wasn't many people in the garage, many callers. Our hauler's wide open. It's a beautiful early May, beautiful day in North Carolina, and the hauler's wide open. And this music is busting out of this thing. And I mean, it sounds good. It's a beautiful day. We got a badass race car. It makes a ton of front downforce. And Dr. Dre, the Chronic, is booming out of this. And it's my first exposure to Dr. Dre. And
who was playing Dr. Dre?
That would be Ben Leslie. That's Ben. Ben's the crew chief.
So
he's the boss.
So he's the one that started this party with all your interest in hip hop.
This is why I'm telling the story, because Ben Leslie gets the credit for this, and Dr. Dre gets the credit for this. Still to this day, one of the greatest rap albums of all time.
He swung right
Dr.
through
Dre,
it.
the
Like he was
Chronic,
right on it, but
Chronic album. So, I mean, and he plays it, you know, on just repeat all day. And I'm telling you, man, this is good. And we're fast, and it's all good. So that's kind of how I get started on Dre, and then eventually I go from Dr. Dre to Eminem, and then eventually some of Matt's friends asked me if I've ever listened to Gucci Mane, and I discovered Gucci, and I listened to Gucci this morning. I listen to Gucci damn near every day. So I'm definitely a Gucci Mane fan. But anyway, back to the racing. So we go to Charlotte, and I don't know what happened qualifying. We only qualified 25th. Maybe because the car is so loose, it doesn't want to be the grill taped up solid. Makes it pretty much impossible to drive. But anyway, to boil it down to the final end of the race, Jimmy Johnson is doing his Jimmy Johnson Superman thing at Charlotte, which at that time he was the king of Charlotte. He owned Charlotte. He was leading. Kinsella was probably running second. I was running third or fourth or something. On the last pit stop, we come in and pit, and Jimmy has a problem in the pits, and my pit crew beat Matt. I beat Matt out of the pits, so they put me in the lead after the last pit stop. And Matt's really good, and has run ahead of me pretty much all race. But they throw the green flag for this last run, and it's on. And I ain't gonna give up for much of nothing. Even though my car's gotten really tight, started getting tight. Now this is going into the night, and some people might want to blame that on because it got nighttime and cooled off, but there's more to that story. My car also got really hot.
That's 4 strikeouts.
Really hot inside. Inside the car. It's cooking me. But this race is on, dude. And Matt is trying his best. And we're coming up on the lap cars with just a few laps to go. And I ain't got no time, you know. I can't afford to lose any air off my nose. I can't afford to get any delay. Matt is fixing to pounce on me. And I split with these guys 3 or 4 wide,
for the Red Sox
just slashing through the field, through the lap cars. And I mean, it was one of those deals that would just about take your breath. Pretty much drama. But I slashed through there and managed to keep my distance ahead of Matt, and we pull off the win. And so, a long story short about the car, before we talk a little bit about the Victory Lane celebration, we had drugged. The ductwork was at the very bottom of the valence to make more front down for us. And we had drugged the bottom of the ductwork
It's a single.
so much that it opened up a hole about the size of a basketball or a football, between a football and a basketball size hole in the bottom of the ductwork. So I lost all that downforce, plus the air that was supposed to be going through the radiator. Part of it was coming down around underneath the car, or the radiator, hot radiator air. It changed the air underneath the car, and so therefore it got tighter, and it also made it obviously less fast. So it was a challenge to beat Matt and pull that off, but that's what happened to the car and why the car got tight.
A nice pitch there to get the fly ball. Nice
Back to the victory celebration. Matt was pretty young. He was maybe 10 at this point, and all the way back in 98, 99, whenever they started having these No Bull 5 races, like I was in the No Bull 5 race at Charlotte. I'm sorry, at Indy, and even though Matt wasn't much of a race fan, he sure was a fan of winning $1 million, because to Matt, as a young kid, he thought if we won $1 million, we'd be rich. And that would be the end of that story. So at Indy, I think it was 98, he told me before the race, now Dad, don't be nervous. And he was at MRO watching the race with the other kids, and Jeff Gordon wins the No Bull 5, and I run second to Gordon. And he jumps up and he says, I hate Jeff Gordon. He's so pissed, because he just thought if we could win $1 million, that would be the end-all, be-all to financial wherewithal for life. And so I think he was already asleep by the time this race was over, because it was late. And Arlene gets him up, wakes him up, calls him up here to victory lane. And Matt was so freaking excited. It was such an amazing win, because after 2001, I was afraid I would never win a race again. And people laugh at that. But sometimes, if you're lucky enough to win a race, it could, sometimes, if you win multiple races, sometimes, if you win, it could be your last one. And I'm serious. I was scared that I'd never win another one. And so it was a big win from that standpoint. It was a big win because it was such a team effort. And I felt like Ben Leslie had really carried that on his back. He said we were going to win that race back in April. He built a special body for that race. He did win tunnel testing. He knew what I wanted, what I needed. And then we did a test, all pointing toward that. And then the pit crew gets me out in front on the last pit stop. So it was such a team effort. And Matt was so excited. And Ben Leslie's first Cup win as a crew chief. And almost everybody on the team was experiencing their first Cup win in Victory Lane. So it was just almost euphoric. The pictures, the photos from that Victory Lane, where Coca-Cola is all over Matt's shirt and all over Arlene's shirt. Her shirt is wet, and my face is red from the heat. And I just look at that, and I look at the enthusiasm on that team's face.
Huge lead over there. The pitcher
fell asleep and
forgot all about it.
It's almost emotional for me. It was such an incredible feeling. So we move on from that. We continue to reel off top 5 finishes, top 10 finishes. Everything's pretty good to go. And then we're leading the points.
Taken for a ball.
You know, I remember leading the points, leaving Dover in the fall.
Browns won the opposite way.
We run second
That'll
at
do it as we
Dover.
go to the bottom of
We're
the
leading the
inning.
points. We
All
got
right,
a
everybody,
nice
up
little
on their
cushion
feet. Time for the seventh inning
on
stretch.
Yeah, I could use
Tony
a bit
Stewart.
of a break.
And this is the year. This is the year that we do it. This is the year. This is finally after 12 years,
Next up,
or
Sean
after,
Higgins.
11 years, 10 years after the debacle in 1990, where
Swing and a miss.
we wind up
He's batting
losing
282
out
with 3 long
on that
balls
championship,
and 15
and me
RBIs.
thinking another one would come. Finally, 10 years later, 11 years later, here we are. We're in good shape. And leading the points, followed over race, just a handful of races left. And I go to Jack, and I say, Jack, we just can't blow up. Just can't. We can't lose any
Stepping
motors.
in, 1 for 2.
It doesn't matter how much power they have. I don't care about the power. We just can't break
Easy
them over.
play for the left fielder. The catch
And
is
so we
made
go to
by the left
Kansas the
fielder.
next week,
The Devil Rays
and we
have
break a
some
motor at
activity
the end
down
of the
in their
race.
pen.
And then we go to Talladega the next week, and they get in a
This
wreck.
right-handed batter doesn't do well against southpaw pitching.
So there goes our point lead. There goes our
That
point,
one splits the outfielder.
cushion. And then from there,
Halama
we have a
is
little
on
trouble
with
at
2
start,
outs.
finish 16th, but then we go 10th, 8th, 2nd, 4th, and 4th the rest of the year.
This pitcher's got to be careful.
But of course,
He's
it's
got
not
great
enough,
wheels.
because we've
Turn a
already
single into a double with ease.
We've already lost, we lost our points cushion. So we lose a championship to Tony Stewart. And so that kind of sums up the
He dives and makes
2002
a
season. It was a
fantastic
great
catch.
season, incredible win. After I was afraid I'd never win another race. Second place in the points.
After 7
Very
innings,
proud
it's tied
to
at
rebound
2-2.
like that. Tons of top 5 finishes. And so, in the end, it was a very, very successful season to a stressful start because, it was a big change to make that kind of, it was a ballsy change
Mahomes
to
takes
change
below the knees.
teams with Kurt. And it worked out fabulous for Kurt, too. Jimmy was a perfect influence on Kurt, and they had an incredible season and
Fly ball hit the shallow
were
left.
able to just really
Base hit to
start.
lead off the
Kurt
inning.
Busch started really coming into his
And
own.
here comes the hook. They're going to
So
the
tell
pen.
us, what was Jimmy's thoughts when did you approach him about this change? What thoughts did he have? Was there any kind of resentment, anything going on there?
I didn't discuss it with Jimmy.
Jackson is next up.
Jimmy and I were really close.
You don't see much bunting anymore in these days of the long ball. But if there
And
was
the
ever
last
a
thing
bunting
I'd ever want to
situation,
do
it
is
was
disappoint
right
Jimmy.
now.
But it's a performance-based business for
The
he
Red
and I
Sox
both.
put a faster runner into the game.
And I think Jimmy on the
Taken for a
surface was fine with it. Treated me just fine. Never acted like he resented it. I was afraid that he resented it down below,
And
underneath.
that one's foul.
But it needed to be done. And incredibly,
He smoked it.
it was better for Jimmy.
They turned the
Jimmy
double
started
play.
winning races,
Hey, late in the game, double plays
And
are
Jimmy got a
doubly important.
championship.
Quick pitching and great fielding right there.
and he may not have if we stayed together. We had just reached a point in 2000, at the end of 2001, where I don't know for sure if we could rekindle it and get it back or not.
Ramirez takes, and it's ball
And
one.
he picked up the ball and started running with it with Kurt. He had him a great young driver,
Ground ball to the
and
right
it worked
side.
out fabulous for him, and he got a championship ring out of it down the
Going
road.
into the
So
bottom of the eighth, it's tied
it was
at
the
2-2.
best thing for Jimmy.
Stepping in.
So that will wrap up year 2002 here on the Mark Martin podcast. We want to send a special shout out to a couple podcasts that Mark has been on lately, Dale
They're
Jr.
making a change
Download,
on defense.
and others
Into
that
the
have
game in
actually
right field,
picked up
Trout
our
Nixon.
subscribers. So if you're new to the podcast again, head over to the markmartinpod.com website, markmartinpod.com. Click listen and find us on your favorite podcast player. But that will do it for episode number 41 of the Mark Martin Podcast.
Thank you for subscribing and listening to the Mark Martin Podcast. Remember to give us a 5-star rating in your app store. Connect with us on Facebook, Twitter, and Instagram at Mark Martin POD. The Mark Martin Podcast is a production of the
Red Sox
Accelerated
bring in a new
Podcast
pitcher.
Network.
They're going to the bullpen.
Sears announces the Wasilla store is closing forever. Millions in inventory must be sold, including all fashion clothing, tools, bed and bath, housewares, sporting goods, and more. Save 70% off on all fine gold, silver, diamond, and gemstone jewelry. Gifts for all occasions. All in-store, in-stock major appliances are on sale. Everything must go. Even the store fixtures are for sale. Only in the Sears store in Wasilla at 1000 South Seward Meridian Road. It's business as usual at all other Sears stores.
Race fans, it's time to buckle in and listen to the fastest hour in racing radio. Your driver is a multi-time NASCAR winner and Hall of Famer Mark Martin. We cover racing, grassroots, history, we bench race, we talk life, and most important, we smash the loud pedal. It's time to turn some laps on the Mark Martin Podcast.
Well-hit ground ball here because
Episode number 40 of the Mark Martin Podcast, and we're going to head to the year 2000. Mark says he has some good stories from the year 2000, so we're going to get into that. But before we do that, make sure to hit markmartinpod.com, markmartinpod.com on the website. Click that listen button and subscribe on your favorite podcast player. When you're there, make sure to hit connect. Follow us on Facebook, Twitter, and Instagram at markmartinpod. But Mark, the year 2000, we're moving into a new millennium, the year 2000. And you said you got some good stories, so let's see what you got for the year 2000 here on episode number 40.
Well, you know, you start off the year going to Daytona, and I always seem to have trouble at Daytona. But this was a better year. We left Daytona with a 5th place finish. We were in a, by the way, we were in a contract year with Valvoline. They've been our primary sponsor for 8 years and associate sponsor for 2 more years on top of that. So there was every intention of Valvoline re-upping with us. I thought, you know, it was pretty much, you know, a done deal. We were all real happy with each other, I thought, at least. I know they were happy with us, for sure. And I was happy with him. Great sponsor. So we go to Daytona, and we finish 5th, which is a great start for us, not leaving Daytona in a hole. And we go right on to Rockingham and run 8, and then we run 3rd back-to-back after that at Vegas and Atlanta. So, man, we're setting 2nd in the points right out of the gate. And this looks like this could be the year. We keep running good. We go to Martinsville, and we're running terrible in practice in happy hour. And I hate Martinsville. Always hated Martinsville. And you know, we're sitting there running happy hour, not happy. I'm overdriving the car, too slow, can't make it do what I want it to do, and I get really angry. And at the end of happy hour, I come on the radio and I tell Jimmy, you have to wear panties to drive this place. So, because you know you can't drive hard, you can't manhandle it, you can't. It's the opposite of Dover. In Dover, the harder you drive, the faster you go. You can just mop the track with the car, you know. But Martinsville is the opposite of that. You got to be so easy and finesse, and you have to be dead on your line and on your marks. You have to be so perfect and disciplined, and so I was pissed. Well, Sunday,
With 1 inning left to play,
we
Tampa
get the
Bay
lead
leads by 1.
late in the race
They're
by,
making a pitching change. In the
I
pitch
think
is the
Jimmy
closer,
stayed out. I
Danny
think we stayed
Baez.
out and didn't change tires. And that's how we got the lead. And we led the thing
Ortiz makes
the
his
rest of the
to
way,
plate.
last like
It's
60,
the last inning, and it's still
65
anybody's
laps or
ball
so.
game.
And Jeff Burton ran second to us. That was pretty cool. There was a number of
He
restarts
delivers.
and all, but back then they were single file restarts. So it was no problem to keep the lead. So we won the race. Crazy, because we were jumped, I thought, in happy hour.
Back up
Wasn't
the
long
middle.
after that
He flubs the
my
catch.
team
Base hit
presented
to lead
me
off the
with a
inning.
framed pair of panties, embroidered, Martinsville, Haynes 500 or whatever it was, the Martinsville race logo and all that, and every crew guy autographed it. And so
At
that
bat with a
those
couple of
panties
singles,
hang
Johnny Damon.
in the
Give me a
museum
run right
now
the
as
ball
a
would get to
reminder
90 feet closer
of that.
and a
So
runner in
it's
scoring position.
that was a pretty everybody liked to got a
pinch
kick
run in
out
this
of that.
situation.
Yeah, I did too. This was during the era when
Man
I
on
was
first
pretty
with
damn
no
grumpy.
outs.
I wasn't all
Gets
that.
taken for a ball.
I wasn't all that happy. I was just frustrated with
A ball.
not being able to score enough points to win a championship. Because I knew my time was starting to run out. The first several years after 1990, when we narrowly missed it,
The 2-2.
I wasn't worried about it because I knew it would come.
Gathers it in with his
But
glove.
now I could
He
see the
slides
time
hard into
running
second
out.
base.
But we left Martinsville
That's
and
an
Talladega
excellent play
and
by
run
the
6.
shortstop at turn 2. The base runner
Everything's
all
looking
over.
good, and then all of a sudden, the
Stepping
same
in,
old stuff
1
starts
for
to
4,
happen.
Mike Lowe.
We wreck at Richmond,
2 outs and
wind
nobody
up
on.
with 32nd place finish,
Inside for a ball.
and we have
The
3
fact the pitcher and catcher have
engine
strategy in
failures.
mind. So far, the batters are taking these pitches.
Hey Barry,
Yep.
you can't do all that.
2-0 delivery.
Did you hear
Oh,
something?
oh yeah, you're wrestling or something.
Oh, I just moved my headset.
He hits it down the
Okay,
line.
I won't do that. Sorry.
The ball game is
Move ahead.
over.
Yeah, so we're gonna have to edit that. That was terrible.
Okay.
So,
Danny Baez
so we
picks up
we
the
won
save.
Martinsville.
The Tampa
And we
Bay
left
Devil
there,
Rays
and then
win it
soon
by
after
1.
that, all the stuff starts happening again. We wreck at Richmond, and then we have 3 engine failures and 2 more crashes. So, when all that started, before all that started, we actually led the points after Talladega, and we were looking good, and had a 6th place finish at Talladega, and that that put us in the lead in the point standings, and then we start having trouble, and when we don't have trouble, we're finishing in the top 5. But gosh, we had a 43rd at Pocono, 42 back-to-back 43rd place finishes, Pocono and Indy. So, there just wasn't any chance after that. So we ran awfully good, but we had a lot of problems. And so that wound us up, I think, in 8th or so in the point standings as the season rolled down. But that's kind of an overview of the performance. Cars were still fast. I just was plagued with crashes and engine failures. But we got to back up to July, and the negotiations that were going on with Jeff Smith, who was the president of Roush Racing. Jeff Smith and Valvoline, and they're negotiating, and of course Jeff's trying to get more and more money. My contract was already done. They had already done a 5-year deal with me the year before this sponsor contract came up. That's how they always did it. They always made sure they had me locked down before they ever entered into any sponsor contracts. So somehow or another, Pfizer had gotten with Jeff Smith, and the Viagra brand had just come out, probably a couple 3 years prior, and they had an enormous advertising budget, and something like NASCAR had probably never seen before, and certainly more than we'd ever seen. And so the negotiations went on with them, and the way they positioned it was, yeah, it'll be a Viagra car, but we're going to put a super heavy emphasis on men's health, and that men need to get health screenings, need to get a regular checkup after 40, and they don't do that, and a men's health initiative. So they were going to spend advertising money, TV time on prime time, cable television, outside of the racing market, all the things that really were promising and looked good. And they were going to develop and bring a trailer to every race and set up free health screenings for men where you could go in and get, a complete checkup to see, everything, how your health was, see if you had any issues, any health issues that needed to be addressed. This was free for every race fan that wanted to utilize it. So long story short, of course, we did the deal. It was worth a lot more to the race team, and it was worth an additional personal service contract on top of all the other deals that I had with my contract that were in my contract with Red